I felt like honoring.
Who's the greatest Jewish musician of all time? I
Drake?
wonder. Is that who is that?
Madashishu, dude.
Is that?
So there's this Jewish reggae guy. His name's Modest Yahoo.
Okay. Hey, man.
We were hanging out, and I put it on, and he goes, "Oh shit, this Madashishu."
That's funny.
I was like, "No,"
Because I here's the thing about black people.
Tell me.
The thing about black people is we will purposely mispronounce something forever.
Yeah.
But now I said Modest Yahoo's name correctly. I don't even remember how to, it can't even come out of my mouth how to say
You're
the
right,
other
though.
way.
You're right, because every black person ever has called me Brandon as long as I've known him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Your name's not Brandon? Hold on. Hey,
Ladies and gentlemen,
what is your name?
Breaking news.
we have a guest in the studio today.
Yeah.
When he said he wanted to be on, he's
Hell
like,
yeah.
"Get ready to get canceled."
Yeah.
So this could be nuts.
Get rolling. What do you mean,
Like,
get ready?
We're allowed to cuss and everything?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Hey,
cool.
give us like 10 minutes and then we'll.
Yeah, we do like
the
the
10-minute
first 10
YouTube
for
thing?
the algorithm
Yeah.
or whatever.
I got you.
know?
I got you.
But also I can edit. So
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
if it slips, it's not the end of the world.
Just my whole conversation just bleeps.
We've done that.
Hey, man, don't get me going.
Ladies and gentlemen, Braeden Oakleaf is here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a barber, social media dude, all around just good ass dude with the dirtiest
The
stash.
dirtiest
in town.
stash in town.
Yes. And ladies, free mustache rides.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. How do you grow the dirtiest stash in town? Because I'm if you can't see, you might not be able to see it in my camera, but it's coming.
I just
It's
thought that was
starting.
like darker skin.
Well, you got to go through a period.
Shut up. You shut your mouth. You shut your little.
Hey, look.
We can't cuss for 10 minutes. But
Well, you got to go through a period, and the first.
I thought the whole point of having a mustache is that I don't have a period.
Well, you go through the thing called growing the mullet first. When you grow the mullet out, then the mustache, it just appears magically. I don't know. It did for me, but
Look here, Brandon. I'm so black. I don't think I can grow a mullet.
no, you
I don't
can't
think
grow
I
a
can
mullet.
grow a mullet.
No mullets for you.
No, probably not.
I'm dead.
Oh man. So Braeden, you do a lot of work with obviously at SI with your being a barber and everything. Which it's always been a job that I kind of have wanted. Like if other things fall apart, but like if it'd be cool to be a barber if
Yeah.
if I
Basing
need to
his
figure it out.
whole experience off a barbershop.
Well, that's actually that's what I thought
Yeah.
that originally got me into doing hair. I used to live in this small town, and I would drive down Main Street every morning on the way to this construction job I hated, right? And there was this barber shop, and it was this old guy, and he was sitting out on the bench every day just smoking cigs, and I was like,
Hell yeah, dude.
that could be my life right there. And that's what set me on the journey to being a barber.
I mean,
sounds incredible.
I recently joined Threads off of Instagram, and one of my first ones was "Life was better when people didn't care about health. Bring back smoking inside."
Am I getting in the way with my drink?
What? What?
No, okay.
Distracting our flow, dude.
I thought you guys were having a little mini conversation.
We were.
If you ever need to
Damn it.
feel the nostalgia of smoking inside, just take $500 and go to the casino. You smoke
That is
all the
true.
cigs you want.
That is true.
Me and Biggs were just talking about that the other day. Was even when you could smoke inside, and they had smoker sections and non-smoker sections. The non-smoker sections would always be in the back of a restaurant.
Yeah.
Or they would have this dividing barrier.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't make any sense because it'd be a 6-foot barrier. People were just
Yeah.
Yeah, but they had the fans. They had the
I'm
fans.
at Denny's.
no,
eating waffles,
that
and the
doesn't
guy
help. That
next to me
just blew it
smoking
across the
cig.
rest of the restaurant.
If you should be able to smoke anywhere inside, it's Waffle House.
Yeah.
No, I get
Waffle
that, but
House,
also
Denny's, all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all that.
there's a lot of
It's a classy
kids.
joint.
I feel like it's the same thing. Like when you make spicy food when you're taking to a Super Bowl party.
Oh, yeah.
It's not everybody can deal with spicy food.
Yeah.
So you might as well take something that's neutral. With smoking inside, nobody can do
I'll
it.
put
Everybody
out-
can deal with not
I'll
smoking
fucking
inside.
put out
true.
a dart in some kid's Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity right now.
I mean, if we're outside,
Square up, kid.
if we're outside and I'm standing out of somewhere, and if I just so happen to be smoking a cigarette, Mom, I don't. But if I just so happen to be smoking a cigarette outside and a kid walks by, go f yourself, kid. Like I'm not. I'll blow it in the little face.
Well, they make kids so soft now. Like,
dude, they're built different,
bro. They are built different. They don't
in the worst way.
Like, they don't even have muscle. Like, take your shirt off. Let me see your muscles, kid. You know what
I mean? Hey.
Weak ass bitch.
With that mustache, I don't think you can be asking kids to take off their shirt. I don't think you can be doing that.
Yeah, that came out wrong.
You think? We have a classy podcast.
Oh, dude, I'm just over here trying to honor my Lord and Savior Fred Durst. Right.
That's what I was going to ask you, backwards or forwards.
How long have you guys been doing the pod?
Year and a half.
I was saying, because you showed me like, it was like 6 months ago. The first time I saw it in the episode.
Yeah.
And you guys have came up big time. Like,
dude.
And I see other creators around Wichita, our city, that are doing podcasts, not just comedians, but everybody.
No, everybody.
And you guys are 100%, like, you guys started doing it at Valhalla. Yeah, and like it just leveled up everything. The clips, the audio, the visual. It's like props to you guys. It's sick.
I mean, it's sick. Honestly, it's Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor. you know all the work.
Oh yeah. Well, you guys got to put in the work still.
I mean, we're still out here putting in the work. And thank you, by the way, for saying that.
But keep going.
But like stroke our egos a little bit. But I mean,
my dick's hard over here. Keep going.
I mean, we hang out at the store all the time, and it's those end of the day kind of just creative brainstorm sessions.
Yeah,
that's what's birthed everything.
Yeah. It's when you can be in a group setting with like-minded individuals that also have like that creative brain,
right?
It's a beautiful thing, because like I might have an idea and it may be small at first, and then Gabe will expand on it, and then Felix will expand on that, and then now we have a project that we can put out and be happy about putting it out and be proud of it. You know,
see, that's what makes me. Not everybody's wired like a comic. But you just explained how we talk about jokes.
Yeah,
Well, I have this idea.
I love the comedy scene. I could never like. I mean, I suppose I could try to do stand up, but it's not my. I save that for the pros like you guys. But I do like, because I know that like writing comedy is like a long process. Yeah, and I like. I've learned to, as I've gotten older, like really love the grind of that said process. Like it's like, okay, this is gonna take like 6 months to a year to complete, but let's go all in for that 6 months to a year, and then we can look back and be like, oh wow, we really came up. And like that's what I'm seeing with you guys, because I've seen it from afar, and you guys have talked about it with me a bit, but for real, like from when I first saw the podcast, I would have looked at it. I would have looked at it and been like, no shot. Yeah. And like no shot it would make it, right? Right. And then you guys started like leveling up, and I'm like, okay. Now they're about to be big time. Yeah. Because you guys have the talent. It's just like no one wants to look at shitty visuals or shitty audio. Yeah,
exactly.
Audio, you know?
And so like for us it was, but that's kind of the way we do things too. I mean, we do things in the comedian way. Yeah. Which is you write an idea and then you just go do it. Yep. And then you go back and you're like, okay, what didn't work? What did work?
Yeah, you fail at some parts of the idea.
Yeah. And sometimes there's like, even we've talked about it, like it's happened to us like the last handfuls of times that we've been on stage, where it's like a bit comes up and you get a tag there or whatever it is. Yeah. Sometimes you're in the middle of doing something works, and you're like, yeah.
They're accidents. Doing
that from now
like
on.
In any kind of creative space, I've learned that like sometimes the accidents are the best thing to happen, like a mistake. For because some reason, like video editing, right? I'm like a year in or so, and like I've messed up on the timeline on the editing software. Yeah. But I'll play it through, and where I thought I messed up, it actually looks like kind of amazing. I'm like, we're gonna leave that fuck up because that looks good. And yes, that was all me. You know what I mean?
No, that's the best is when you like I flubbed, like. I don't know. We've had episodes that just didn't have that flow to it, right? Yeah.
And I think we've struggled more from like we have so many ideas, and even like there's been a couple of days where we have basically we thought we've recorded a full episode. Yeah. And then you get to like hit the button to stop recording, and then you accidentally hit start recording. It's like
And then it's like that's like one of your best episodes too.
We were crushing it, going back and forth for an hour and a half, going.
And then we go
a lost hour.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, this is just the podcast.
We'll revisit this tomorrow.
But like, so you do a lot of creative with like video and shit, and like you shoot Taylor's shows a lot of the time and stuff. But like, how's that translate to hair? Like, I know we've done my hair a couple once. We're gonna do it again soon.
So like, when I first got into hair over a decade ago, and now I've been doing hair for 11 years now. And when I first got into it, I bought a really nice Canon camera.
Yeah.
And I learned photography. And I took portrait photography classes to like understand how to utilize the camera fully.
Yeah.
I learned that, and I started to like expand on my photography. I started doing more than just hair photography.
Okay.
The initial reason was to capture haircuts better than anybody else in the market could, which was happening. But then people liked my photography, and so I would get hired to do shows, like, you know, any kind of photography, really, like families, that kind of stuff. And in the last, I don't know, what do you guys, 3 to 5 years is when like the TikTok type videos.
Yeah, I would say so.
So when that started happening, I was hiring videographers, which, as you guys know, gets expensive.
Yeah.
And I was doing it like weekly, and I budgeted like $1,000 a week for videographers. Cause I believe that hard in my brand that like I'm going to make it one way or another. But anyways, right? I got to Valhalla.
This is all a dream.
Yeah. Right? Well, like I got mixed in with Valhalla and Standard Issue, and I could photos, no problem.
Yeah.
But the videos is what I really joined with Standard because of Valhalla and because of like I wanted to be the dumbest when it came to videos in my group that I'm around every day. Because you got to be the worst to be the best. Right. And so I went around the best, and I started with videos again, just on hair. And then to get better at video, like all around, that's where I'm like, all right, I have opportunities a lot with Valhalla, but I'll go shoot the band. And that's a whole different setting because it's dark and it's challenging to do. So like those challenge, like a lot of my friends are like, you're always on some side quest. Like, they're not wrong, but the side quests do really help you grow
for sure
in your like in your craft. And then I take that craft, I always revert it back to the hair industry. I have plans for me in the hair industry that I have to become this videographer to see those plans through. And it just like really, man, I've taken like I was given an inch essentially with videography, and I took a mile. And I continue to do so in a positive way. And I just try to have fun with it. Like, cause photos, I could never like, photos are cool. Like it's cool imagery, right? Video, you can do so much more. Like I do a lot of silly shit, and it's
if you don't
fun
follow
to do.
Braeden, you need to, because he posts the silliest shit, and it's clear you're having fun with it.
That's the whole point. Like, and the reason I got into hair back again, like that looked cool. That old guy, right? Like I could do that. I wanted to have fun. I want my whole life to be fun. I used to take myself pretty serious. And I still do in some aspects, but dude, like I prefer to have. That's why I like the comedy space so much, because everybody I've ever met in this space is having fun every time I'm around them, and I always vibe well with like
the amount
you
of
guys.
Pure,
You know,
the amount of pure psychopaths.
Dude, that's why I fit in with you guys.
Oh, for sure.
And that's not even the comedians. These are just drunk people at the shows. It's like, you want to do some cocaine in the bathroom, buddy?
Dude, that
What's
happened
up?
to us.
Dude, like, my name's Bubba.
Well,
I've
heard that like people like on cocaine that try to do comedy, they don't do well because you like lose.
You don't do well.
You don't lose some heart in it. You know,
I don't
need
think
heart
you can
to be on stage.
I don't think you can do the best stand-up comedy on anything.
Yeah, you gotta
like
be
whatever it is. Like sober. I think you have to be dead sober. Like you can get drunk and tell a story. Get a little high, come up with an idea.
That's like your purest form of yourself.
Exactly.
Too, you know? So, that's why you got to be on stage. So.
And like you're just the most manicured version of yourself. Like I'm a big tell your fucking jokes. Don't like dilly dally on stage. Like
that's the thing jokes. Too. Like with the internet space, and I told you guys before I came on, like, you guys are ready to get canceled. I'm not really joking because like, and you guys get more of a pass than like regular people because you're comedians. To me, I'm like, if a comedian tells a joke about a like, haha, I don't care because they're a comedian. That's what they do, right? But if
somebody's more afraid of getting canceled.
But like,
than me.
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like, you guys have that free pass because like you guys are known as comedians. Yeah. That's what you do. You're telling a joke.
There's a fine line, and we have to figure out how to dance around it.
And that's what I like. So that's a reason. It's
in
a reason.
Jesus' name.
Like,
amen.
It's a reason I actually study stand-up comedy and the comics. Yeah. Because they tote the line so well between like too far and funny, and that's the exact like kind of content I like to make, as you know.
Oh yeah.
I like to call it the Ari Shaffir line.
Dude, that dude, and that Ari Shaffir, he's a great example. Like,
he had a show called The Amazing Racist.
Dude, that show, the funniest YouTube series ever to exist.
But like, there's a line right there that he could cross very easily.
No, he crossed it.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, he's probably like the no man's land where he's like, I don't know what he's doing if it's offensive, but it's definitely not
he named his special Jew.
Yeah.
It's crazy work.
That's more descriptive than anything. It's Ari Shaffir.
It's crazy
Jew.
And a fantastic special too.
Yeah. Very good. I rewatched it. I watched it a second time.
Out of curiosity, so how long have you been doing stand up?
A year and a half.
And how about you, Felix?
Not 4 years. 3.
3. So like, how would you? I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
Or no, I've been over 2 years. I said a year and a half, and I was like, I said a year and a half.
I know I've been doing it longer than you, but I don't think it's been that much longer than you.
2 years. I've just hit over 2 years.
We're doing this podcast for like a year and a half.
Yeah. So like, I'm just curious. I know like established stand-up comedians that have like deals
us?
and like you guys that have Netflix deals and stuff.
Totally like us.
So like they're
Ted
like
Sarandis, what's
November
up?
7th.
They're
Felix
like
Johnson Jew
they put out a
coming out.
special like a 45-minute every like 2 years, right?
Give or take, it depends.
What would you guys like say like early on in your career like this? Like, how far away are you from a special? If you were to have the budget to film it yourself and everything, how far away are you?
I'm a long ways away.
Yeah.
My shit is like, I'm really proud of what I have that's tight right now.
Yeah. I've seen some of your stuff. It's funny.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Some of your stuff is funny.
Come see me at Barley. Just help me write most of it. I run it all by you. You don't help me write it because I don't think you want.
What's a writing process look like for you and you?
I mean, for me, because I text how I talk.
Yeah.
And so much of my comedy is like as much from the page, like the line that I need to get to the laugh. Yeah. It's maybe not even the punchline has to be the exact word, but I need the line to get to the punchline to be very succinct in what it needs to be to get there. Yeah. So I'll text him or one of our other comic friends or whatever it may be and say like what did I text you earlier?
You texted me something like weirdly inspirational.
Like, no, I did text you something inspirational.
Oh, my eyes are like assholes because I've seen a lot of shit.
No. I'm like an asshole with eyes. I've seen a lot of shit.
Okay.
And then I'm getting so desperate, I left my number on a receipt at a Waffle House.
That one, yeah.
So like I'll send that, and then like maybe he'll still maybe he'll text back, and like maybe he'll send like there's an idea, then we'll build on top of that, and maybe it happens like we're just if the mics and cameras aren't turned on, we just like all right.
Do you
so this,
write like when you're on stage? Or is it kind of like you make alterations to the joke after you get off?
I think you make alterations every time you get on stage. You kind of have to.
Yeah,
and then
that would make sense to me. But
then you see what's applicable to the next time you do the same joke.
Yeah.
So it's not a science. It's an art, but it is a science.
Like for me, I'm so ADHD that like I'm never gonna tell one joke the exact same way every time.
Yeah.
There's going to be different.
I relate to that. I have ADD as well, and
no haircut's going to look the exact same every time.
You do the same thing 10 different ways. That's the thing. It's interesting.
No, it literally is like you could put a GPS on it.
Yeah,
I'm still going to try and beat it.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know if I go this way, it's faster for sure, and it never is. But I tried.
Usually fucks you
pretty bad.
And I think Gabe is a better comedian at me in this, right? where he's more flexible, where he can kind of go with the audience. And I'm like, here are my jokes. You're going to take them.
Well, you're kind of dry, like dry humor. You know what I mean?
I'm gushy.
Like I like your dry humor.
Don't say anything about his ashiness.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Put some lotion on those elbows.
Yo, both y'all crackers not going to do is come and ash it. That's what you're not going to do is come and ash it, honky. You're good right now. You're good
Caleb,
right now.
Caleb hasn't said a mildly racist remark this episode.
You're on probation.
Gushy.
We kind of walked past that one. I was a little
This
shocked.
is what
by
actually
that.
happened when you ate fruit gushers. Remember the old commercial where their head turned into the fruit?
I'm
This
a
is what
Black
actually
Forest
happened.
fruit snack.
Is that why you're allergic to raspberries?
But no, anywho, I guess it would. I did say this earlier where I need to lean into my deadpan shit a little bit more, but like I am a little bit dry. I'm more forceful and powerful with the way I try to do stand up at least.
To me, dry is like one of the funniest humor.
Oh yeah, because it's
not everybody gets it. It goes over
I'm such a
people's
big
head.
fan of the comics who are obviously good writers.
Yeah.
They like on paper their jokes would be funny, or if you're reading it, like, that's fun. I can get that.
Anthony Jeselnik's the first one that comes
And
out.
so like I'm not
That
the biggest
dude's
Jeselnik fan.
crazy.
He's
I
nuts.
love him.
He's kind of an asshole.
He is an asshole. You can tell he's just an asshole. But
And
I love
that's
him.
the thing is that I like those type of comics,
Yeah.
and maybe not Jeselnik or whatever it is. I have my few that I love, but there are some jokes that are just great on paper to me. That's how I try to write my jokes, so they can stand alone, even if I'm not on that night. The joke is.
Yeah, I like that.
So
For me, I just make notes in my phone all day long. If I have a punchline come to mind, I had to burp there for a second. Don't worry about it. I mean, I've pulled out to write a joke. I'll be real. 100%.
That's crazy work.
Dude, I was in the middle of something. I was like, hang on.
Need my notepad.
he comes back, Dick's even harder. It's like, I'm fucking hilarious. I'm fucking. All right, let's go.
Sorry, I had to go stroke my ego.
Sorry, I
before we
broke the
continue.
condom. What?
But no, but for me, it's like something funny comes. Like today, I wrote. What did I write down today that I thought was so funny, and I don't know how I'm gonna work it into anything.
You never text me. I have to bother other people with my jokes.
Yeah.
That's most of my at least 4 or 5 times a week. I'm texting somebody of at least an idea of a joke. Nobody ever texts me about their ideas for a joke. It's ever one person.
But how does it get like direction on it and stuff?
Well, yeah, just like talk it through, just to see if like at the very least, like I'll talk to Gabe. Like if I say like, oh, I've got a joke about the Special Olympics, well then he'll start thinking about Shane Gillis's bits on the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
So at the very least, he's another filter of like that joke's already been done.
Yeah.
And then we'll move from there.
Like
Or
a comedic filter of your own
exactly.
thoughts,
Another fan's eyes of like, oh, if you're sitting here talking about LeBron James, it's like he's won 3 championships, right? No, he's won 4. That's what that would basically be like.
I like that.
So
that's
at the very least,
thing,
and he's at least going to give me another level of like, here's why I think this could be funny, how you could do it, whatever it may be.
And like the comedians that are like made it big right now, like they're all friends and they're all collaborative with each other on each other's podcasts every week, bigging each other up. Like it's a good culture to keep.
It's such a weird thing where I think, and he knows I'm such a nerd about stand-up comedy.
He's a nerd about 5 things.
Yeah, I'm such a nerd about stand-up comedy. I read books, watch movies, read everything about comedy there possibly could be to read or know about. But it's such a weird thing. It's like the format of stand-up comedy, just off the idea of you're going up there alone. Yeah. It is just you.
And like,
but that should foster some type of like, you go fuck yourself, you go fuck yourself, and you go fuck yourself.
Well,
but like instead, it's like, let's figure this out together.
People don't even understand, like, because that is technically like a form of public speaking, right? Mm-hmm. People don't understand the difficulty that you have to overcome within yourself to even start to perform by yourself on a stage.
I'd even make the argument
at first, and like you're not going to be comfortable for a long time. I used to like travel and teach, so I know some public speaking. Like I know my way around it real well.
Right.
And dude, like I was not. It took me a long time to even get comfortable, even though I knew exactly what I was there to talk about.
Right.
Like down to a T. But it's still like. It's just different, man. You're up there, you got 100 eyes on you, and you're like, oh.
Like, I'd even make the argument that that's kind of the easy part. Where like, I feel like if you give any average person a microphone, they can get something funny out. I know that's public speaking's hard.
Yeah.
But like you give yourself a couple deep breaths for the most part.
Maybe eventually, yeah.
Eventually, like it might take 20 minutes, might take an hour, whatever it is. You can get there to the point where
just
you can get something funny out.
Minutes and
but that's the hard part. Whereas that you're gonna bomb, but if you want to do this, you got to get back up there and do it again.
Yeah.
And do it again.
Yeah, it's like with anything in life, you got to fail forward. So like
exactly.
You're gonna get down, get up, and try again. You'll be better the next time.
I even at least early on, I would say like fuck up on like bomb this joke on purpose because it's gonna happen.
Just let me.
You might as well like be in control of it.
I've never bombed.
You might as well be in control of your own failure, and so do it on purpose. And so throw your own interception.
But also for us, there's no school for it.
No.
Like people pretend to teach classes on it. You can't teach it.
It's so stupid.
It's the dumbest shit
Who's
ever.
teaching comedy classes? Matter of fact,
more
importantly, who's in those comedy classes?
Also people that aren't funny.
Even less funny people.
Yeah. I would
imagine,
being a barber, you have barber school. If you want to paint, you can go to art. My sister's getting her master's degree.
There's a right way to do that.
Yeah, there's no like actual like system to learn to.
There's no handbook.
Yeah.
I'd honestly compared a lot to sports where like everybody who kind of gets into it, everybody's been funny at one point where just everybody's been athletic at one point. You've thrown a ball at some point.
You think Hitler was ever funny?
He's cracked at least one joke. Yeah, Hitler had to have.
He was on meth.
Yeah, and that's funny.
That's
at the very least.
Pretty funny.
At the very least, he did funny shit.
Doing meth at the Olympics has got to be a wild time. I don't know if it's great or terrible.
And I wouldn't say I would do it differently.
No,
maybe the Jew part.
Like I would. Hitler, great public speaker. Great.
Here's the thing. If we broke it down and tore away all of the shit that he actually did,
greatest
Hitler
public speaker of all time
is the greatest public speaker of all time. I'm not even saying that. I don't even think that's controversial.
Look, hey,
I'm not endorsing anything he did. No. In fact, I think he's the worst person in the history of the world.
But he knew how to hold an audience.
Yeah.
Captive.
20 minutes, a glass of water,
and minorities,
and a captive audience. Guy's the greatest. I just imagine if Adolf Hitler.
Imagine what he could have done.
He's the Muhammad Ali of public speaking.
I just imagine if Adolf Hitler would have grown up in New York in the 1940s and 50s and been in show business. Well, even too many Jews there. So
yeah, there's a lot.
Probably would have caused the problem.
Yeah.
But like he would have been the greatest comedian of all time
if he was
just from being a great public speaker.
Yeah. Maybe.
Too bad. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe he was just crazy.
I'll speak German, so I can't really speak to how good he would have been.
Yeah.
I'm talking just off like the cadence and the.
You have to have good timing. You know who has comedic timing? Donald Trump. That dude has comedic timing. It's weird.
Did you see the clip we posted either today or yesterday?
Today.
So one of my buddies was like, I think Trump's the Antichrist, and my immediate instinct reaction was, at least he's funny.
Here's my thing. Think of your funniest friend. Your funniest friend.
Well, I was friends with myself only for a long time.
Sure, whatever. Your funniest friend, whomever they are, should they be the president of the United States? And whomever it is, should they be the president of the United States? Whoever your funniest friend
maybe
is.
No, but I would, since they're my friend, I would vote for them to support them. You know what I mean?
That's regardless for the good of the country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Would your funniest friend be a good leader of the free world?
I mean, you guys are probably the funniest friends, so because you're comedians.
Would we be good leaders of the free world, Brandon?
I'm gonna go with a no.
I'd be pretty good.
Let's go, Brandon.
I'm gonna go a hard no.
I knew you were gonna say that at some point.
Told you.
Look, I think I'd be all right at it. We're not going to do a lot.
Commander-in-Chief Gabe, I don't know.
Commander-in-Queefs, dude.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I just know I couldn't run for president immediately. Like, I'd have to start with, like, comptroller. Like, I
feel like if I ran, it would be treated how, like, when Kanye ran.
For sure.
Like, he's not mentally well.
Our mentally ill friend.
You do got to go crazy on TMZ.
Yeah. I got to get on TMZ.
Yeah, that's
how would you handle the first controversy in your career? Let's say all your dreams can come true, but like how would you choose to go crazy? Is it the Kanye way? Is it the Amanda Bynes way?
I mean, if Taylor Swift wins Video of the Year, I might go the Kanye way.
No, dude, I'm going. No, okay.
Real quick,
whatever they try to cancel me for, just believe I am going full tilt in that direction, hard.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going Alex Jones?
Alex Jones times 10. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to send out a tweet about you.
I live like I have nothing to lose.
I'm gonna send out a tweet about him one of these days. Where it's like, back in the day, me and Braeden ran around in a lot of the same circles, but I don't know this motherfucker.
Realistically,
I don't know this motherfucker.
I can't believe that he said that.
I cannot. I am sorry, black community. I don't know this nigga.
Happy birthday. What up?
Can I retell this story on the pod real quick?
It's so funny.
That's okay. Like comedians though, like. Because there's been they've tried to cancel a couple comedians.
Mm-hmm. There's no such thing.
And that's what I love, is because
there's no such thing.
They will go full tilt. And
because
you can't cancel that, you know?
Because of this, there's no way.
No, I agree.
Because there's a devoted fan base that will listen to somebody talk for 2.5 hours every week.
They tried to hit Rogan with it like a year or so ago.
They tried to hit Rogan.
He's the most invincible because he's got a mountain of other comics that will protect him on the way up.
That's what they
tried to do it to Shane.
It's like, hey, you want to be mad at Joe Rogan? What if he asked you to come on his show?
Yeah. It's like, you know Venn diagrams of all the fan bases.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Covers all. Like, you may not even know that you're a fan of a Joe Rogan podcast,
but you are.
Or somebody like that got put on by him. You are.
For sure.
Like, that's how crazy it's gotten.
Yeah.
The most subscribed. I don't like the way I said that.
Subscribed
podcast of all time, like 14 million or something.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
And the funniest part about it is all of the controversy that he got into. He's a comic.
Yeah.
He's just a comic.
Like, that's why
he's a comic that's way in over. He's overwhelmed.
That's why it's funny, because it's like when they try to do it to comedians, it's like it was a joke.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like.
Even if it's literally in the job description,
you know what I mean? Even if it wasn't. Are you really going to take advice from us?
Even if it wasn't, I like it more. But
right. If it wasn't,
we're literally the clowns. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. That's the problem where I think you can't give comedians too much power. Where like this can become a problem where where like some people,
it's already a problem.
We're just we're telling jokes, but then people are going to be like, oh shit, I like what they're saying, but we're just like, we're having a good time.
We're just having fun.
We're just saying things.
It's part of why I just give nonchalant responses to things. Like, he'll be like, what did he say the other day? He goes, he's like, suicide's not cool. And I can do it pretty cool. Just saying the shit to get the reaction there.
Speaking of suicide, can I tell you a Christmas story?
Yeah.
It's really funny.
So, it was Christmas when I was 10 years old, but my mom, I woke up and the 9 Christmases previous, there would be presents underneath the tree. As soon as I woke up, that year I run into the living room. Nothing.
It was 2008. The recession hit hard.
Man.
2011. We were past that point.
That's when I'd become one of those kids that kill their parents. But
devastation. So I'm losing it, and it turns out that my mom had written a note, and it was in my stocking. She had given it to me, and I read it, and it turns out we were going all over town looking for my Christmas presents on a scavenger hunt.
Let me take back the killing the parents. Let me walk that back.
Okay. It was a nice gesture, poor execution.
Yes. So we start looking around for presents and everything. So this happens at like 8 in the morning, halfway through all the presents looking for. Christmas is on a Sunday around 10 o'clock, 10:30. My mom goes, hey, we got to go to church. I'm like, we got to finish looking for my presents. Yeah. I don't know who's got a hold of these motherfuckers. So we going to find all of my gifts. And I was like, Jesus will understand.
Yeah.
Like, happy birthday, whatever, nigga. Yeah. Like, come on. Whatever, nigga. Come on. I want my PS3. Let's keep moving, keep marching forward. I want to play Madden 11 when I get home.
It's in your manger, isn't it? I know you're on top of it.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh, my black ass. I don't care.
PlayStation 3 with Madden 11.
I need it now. Drew Brees was on the cover.
That's the other thing he nerds out about is sports.
Yeah,
I'll piss myself. No.
No.
I just know everything.
Yeah.
He can name every Royal Rumble winner in order.
So you're like autistic.
Yeah, dude, I had an autism moment today.
What happened?
I had a big one today.
I scored in the most. We took an autism test on this podcast. Scored in the most severe category. So.
Yeah, mine said you might have it, but you probably don't. His said you should get a second opinion.
I'm dead.
Hey.
That's what it said. Don't like I did it. I didn't do it.
Here's the thing. I forgot how autistic I was.
Yeah, dude.
That was the problem.
I think mine's getting worse. Because today,
can it get worse?
I don't know. Because the air show's in town this weekend.
Dude, they were flying next to my house. It felt like.
Yeah, the Blue Angels flew over, and I was like, "It's a Blue Angel! Look at it! It's a Blue Angel!"
Yeah.
Videoing it, putting it on my Snapchat story.
That is some autistic.
That was really like the way I said Blue Angels. It's like the kid that goes to buildings to watch the lights turn off. Have you seen that guy?
Oh yeah.
He's got to be like 10 or 11 maybe. And he just loves to go to stores and watch them turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
Is he just going as like a Target at 2:00 in the afternoon? Like, can you turn off all your lights?
No, he knows what time they close.
Yeah, he'll go.
So does he go to like? Does he have like a schedule? Walmart's on Mondays. We got Target's on Tuesdays.
Cold Stone Creamery.
Wawa on Wednesday. Cold Stone Creamery on Thursday.
Dude, he just gets so stoked about it. I'm like, I love that for him.
Fridays are all big box stores. Sam's or Costco. Flip a coin. We'll see. I don't know.
He likes big glass fronted ones so he can see him.
Weekends we go to IKEA. It's a party time. Let's go.
Yeah.
How you they trap him in? He gets lost during the day at IKEA. How you like the lights off now? They can't turn the lights off at IKEA.
The part I enjoyed was that I was in the light. Everybody else was in the dark.
It just becomes like really poignant out of nowhere.
What must?
Jeez, yeah.
Like that kid in Love on the Spectrum.
Which one? They're all autistic.
No, the one in Love on the Spectrum who goes on the speed dating. And then he like walks outside and starts screaming the poetry to himself.
Oh, that guy,
yeah,
he's such a sweetheart.
I love him to He's my favorite.
That show's kind of fucked up if you ask me.
Yeah. For sure.
100%.
It's like a nature show about the R words. You know what I mean?
Exactly
it's like,
what it is.
What's going on here?
I honestly
look
think,
at it.
I think the Kardashians are just as mentally ill as them.
Oh yeah.
That's fair.
So I don't think it's unfair.
But
if you're doing all that
Travis
to your
into that.
body, like as a human being, like you're doing this much.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, we're worried about microplastics.
Yeah,
and they've got
it's
all
cultish
the
behavior.
Yeah, they have all of them in their body.
And the amount
Yeah.
of the,
and I'm here. I like it. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. If Kim Kardashian walked through these doors right now, first of all, get the fuck out of that chair. She's on this podcast now. Secondly, can we turn into like how Adam 22 and Lena the Plug do their
That's
thing?
exactly what. That's exactly right.
Lena.
Oh, I think it's Lena.
I thought it was Lena.
That's a crazy.
That's
a crazy dynamic, huh?
That is insane.
Yeah,
that is
like imagine we got done with this. It's like,
insane.
all right, you want to fuck?
Yeah, it's not. It's one thing. It's one thing to be like, yeah, you can go have sex with other men.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be like, I'm gonna pick them out and I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna cheer for you.
And
I'm like,
also,
no.
and then
Hey, thank you for your service.
he's a part of it. And also, like you look
God
at him,
bless America.
Adam 22 is a rough-looking dude.
Yeah,
Like,
he looks
he-
like he's done heroin for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got a hog on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's
bet,
got a
yeah.
bunch of tattoos. Like he looks like dudes who are getting pussy in 2024.
Yeah.
I don't see him being too ugly.
He's like that dude that.
Yeah.
He's that grimy dude.
He's a different font of you.
Yeah. he's me in like chiller font.
Yeah, taller.
Maybe.
I'm more of a papyrus guy.
He's got more of a heroin vibe than you.
Comic
But.
Yeah, I don't do heroin.
You are Comic Sans at best.
I am Comic Sans 100%. If I was a font, it would be Comic Sans italic.
I'm like that block stencil font.
No, that's more of like a military man thing.
Yeah.
You can spray paint it on crates.
What am I? Bubble letters?
Wingdings.
What does that mean?
Just all the symbols.
Hey, man. I feel like that I should be hurt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck yourself, I think.
Nah.
Well,
Maybe later. I don't know. We'll see what the night has in store. I'm not going to try and Dutch rudder with either one of you
How
guys.
often do you
No
guys
offense, you don't know
go
my
on
rhythm.
stage?
Not a lot lately.
I don't want to talk
I've got two shows this weekend, but like
Yeah.
Mike's, we're lucky to have one a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a average like set time for you guys?
5.
At an open mic, it's 5.
Yeah.
But on shows, 10 to 15.
15.
Yeah. So you're prepped for either one.
Yeah.
It forces, I think, and maybe hopefully it's just a period of time where it's just the era of us not doing shows for one reason or another. But it's forcing me to like we said, we talked about joke writing. It's forcing me to write a bunch of material and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
If I was doing too much stand up, I wouldn't have the opportunity to just be sitting here tap.
Right. I use open mics now pretty much exclusively for newer material.
Yeah.
I've got
it out.
Yeah.
And
I've got 15 to 20 minutes that can make me money.
Yeah.
Other than that, let's do some other shit.
I see.
So
do you guys travel around out of town and do shows?
KC here and
yeah,
there.
I'll be in Kansas City this weekend.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma City stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I haven't done Oklahoma yet.
I figured it was KC, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I did.
You guys ever go to Denver?
We haven't done Denver yet.
Because they have a decent scene.
They've got a
there,
solid
right?
ass scene there.
There's a couple good comedy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
It was kind of Austin before Austin because Rogan lived there for a little bit.
Right. Well, Rogan
when he
lived
got kicked
in
out of the store.
Rogan,
Yeah, because Rogan got kicked out of the store. And I don't know, I can't remember for how long he was. I think he was out of the store for longer than he was.
That was for the Mencia thing. Trying to press him about stealing jokes.
Yeah,
which there's some dispute around that
he
story.
confronted him on stage. I don't think there's much dispute.
A little bit because from what I've heard from different people that we've talked to, so take it for what it is. Ari and a couple of those guys worked on Mencia's show, Mind of Mencia.
Right.
Realized that they didn't really like the guy.
Yeah.
And then wrote jokes that they had already been using into the show and into that shit. And so they kind of set him up, but it's still he also did that, and they made it look worse.
Yeah. And maybe they did that.
Probably a bit of everything.
At least that I don't know all of the story. I mean, I don't know. This is just from what I've heard.
Have you guys ever witnessed that? Anybody stealing jokes?
Yeah.
Somebody stole one of mine.
Constantly,
really?
Recently.
Yeah.
It's silly.
You're performing in the same place that night.
I had a joke about Joe Biden because it was every president gets a presidential library.
Yeah.
And I'm not a political comic at all. I don't political regular human.
Yeah.
You're a correspondent on The Daily Show.
That too. See the nonchalant thing. It's on. But it was Joe Biden's presidential library will probably be the only one to have the Berenstain Bears in it. and
someone local took it.
And so, then I was the quotes on the wall are going to be fantastic. One's definitely going to say, "I got hairy legs and I love kids jumping on my lap." One's going to say, "Show them to me." Because it just mumbles and stuff. And so that was it. I tried it for a couple months, and I didn't love the joke anyways.
Yeah.
But then one day we're sitting at Vorshay's, and somebody goes up there who later became a ventriloquist, allegedly. A bad one. And she gets up there. And
so it's a girl.
Yeah.
We think.
I'm just
pretty sure.
I'm using context clues to find out who the fuck you are.
Don't worry, sure her haircut's not good enough to have gone to you. So. She hasn't been out in a really long time. I hope she doesn't.
So
listen to
if
this.
somebody steals any of your material as a
we
comic,
immediately have a problem.
Well, that obviously, but do you just scrap that material from anything you're doing, or
that one?
No, we have a problem. It's my joke.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's
a
problem,
but
are you going to keep performing that joke if they're trying to perform it?
No, our problem's going to increase every time I see you
you're
tell
big
that
as fuck.
joke.
You can just walk up and be like, "I'm going to smash you."
I would do that for other people too because I don't think a lot of people realize the
intellectual property.
Yeah,
you know?
There's that part of it, but it's the amount of disrespect to the.
It is disrespectful though. It's thievery, you know.
Yeah, no, it's
the disrespect to the craft of you got to come. I have a problem with rappers that that's why I'm not the biggest fan of Drake. Write your own shit.
Yeah.
I understand music artists you have songwriters and stuff.
I like that too
but the part of rap and hip hop is that it's a part of your story.
And that's
you
the thing.
write it.
And when and you guys, like, you're joke telling, but really it is a lot of like storytelling.
Exactly.
You can only tell
observational. Only I saw it. Yeah.
You can only tell your story, and then like you can collaborate with people that know your story a bit,
right?
You know, that know you, who you are, your humor and things. But
even people that don't know your story, but maybe have a different perspective. On. Something that you talked about,
and they can flip your perspective on,
and they can flip it, and you're like, that's not true, but that's way funnier.
That's why we can connect in different creative industries, because there's like, I have an idea.
Yeah.
How do I get it to the next level? It's the same thing. Even if you have a completely different comic style, to somebody, at least they have the creative comic brain. Of like, all right, let's get this to here. Well, like, let's get you from premise to setup to punchline, and then we're out.
Like what I've come to realize, at like in the last few years I've been in a creative space, industry, whatever you want to call it, for over a decade. In the last few years, I've really learned to surround myself with the best team possible, and like I would include you guys on my team, right? Because like I can reach out. For what you guys specialize in some things, I could reach out. Like I reach out to Gabe, like help me write some skits for my barber shop and the barbers, and so we could try to record a skit for social things like that. But if you don't have the best team around you, then you're gonna have people in your ear that maybe aren't giving you the best advice.
Well,
right?
and that's what you see in a Hollywood or TV situation. TV's not as funny as it used to be.
Not at all.
Because they're scared.
Well, everybody's in like speaking of Rogan, he changed media forever.
For sure.
Like this show wouldn't exist without him probably.
No.
You know what I mean?
There's no shot.
Like a lot of like all podcasts maybe, you know?
At least comedy podcasts would have had to, because there were other comedy podcasts before Rogan.
Yeah.
But like I think it would have been, comedy wouldn't be where it was, where it is right now, at the very least.
Theo would have interviewed Trump if Rogan hadn't.
Yeah.
Well, like one thing cool about being a comedian is like so from a viewer perspective of comedians, right? Like I only get to see what they do on stage, but I want to know who they are,
right?
And so comedians that have like took over the podcast lane, who has the best podcasts right now? All comedians, because like you guys have this personality that's like magnetic, you know? And like when you're free form, like you're not. It's not. Hey, we got a commercial break. There's none of that, right? It's a free discussion. That's where like guys like you guys shine for sure. You know,
I'm such a believer in like traditional media of like TV, radio, different.
I know you.
Dude loves network television.
Yeah,
I'm such a believer in that stuff, where that's what morning zoo radio is. Like that, you're whatever your stereotype of a radio show.
Well, radio's a bit different, right?
And that's why that's kind of like what I wanted to turn this into, kind of where, like, sure, we don't have segments or anything where it's not like we got to get to a commercial break.
We've
here comes
tried
this
segments,
and it doesn't work out perfectly. Sure, we'll,
and I've seen other podcasts do segments, and they're kind of corny.
And some of them work out that way. But I'm such a big believer in that I'm probably going to do something like that in the future. I don't know what it will be.
Like the one we'll probably revisit was the brackets. We did brackets, and
Jesus,
he texted me one day and he's like, make a bracket of like 90s to 2000s sitcoms. Characters.
Yeah.
And so I went through.
That's funny, actually.
In his mind, it was we were going to just rank them.
Like, this show or this guy in that show is better than this guy in that show.
In this psychopath's mind, it was we're going to make them fight
to the death.
No, for sure.
Death match.
And then we got to Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle versus Frank from It's Always Sunny.
Frank has a gun.
Yeah.
And Dewey won because he stole Frank's gun.
But like, we created this whole thing off of that little idea, and that was probably the only segment I think we would revisit, but we'd probably just do it as its own standalone video, not like an actual episode.
I got you. So I'm just curious if like stand-up comedy didn't exist, right? It wasn't a thing. What do you think you guys would try to do? Like,
I'd kill myself, probably.
Okay. He's got kill yourself. What do you got?
That's like the given. It's kind of like if you ask who's your favorite comedian of all time, Chappelle, sure, but like who's after that? Who's your guy? Like that's number one. Who's the greatest basketball player of all time? LeBron James, Michael Jordan. We get that. Who's next? That's kind of like what that is. Like, I'd kill myself.
Yeah.
I'd definitely be in New York City or Los Angeles trying to be a television writer.
Yeah.
Of some sort, whether it's sitcom or not.
You have this like crazy radio voice. It's a cool voice, but it's like a good recording voice too.
I'm also a psychopath, so what I say is weird. It's it's insane.
Yeah.
I'm a wild person to be around sometimes.
You just said whatever N-word.
Hey, Milton Berle.
Well, every comic I've ever been around has a screw loose somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what I get along with, because I have many screws loose.
Yeah.
So I get along with the comics, but it's funny that like it's funny because you guys are all so different, like comics.
It's wild.
But you all have this one thing that you all have a screw loose somewhere.
One thing that I've noticed that's been consistent through like reading,
screws missing.
Through knowing comedians, listening to specials, reading books, all of that stuff. I feel like every comedian, whether it's a good or bad relationship with your parent, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
You've got a weird relationship with a parent, whether they're gone, they were abusive, whatever. Even if you have a good relationship, like you and your dad had your time.
My dad,
but like you guys are good.
Did not get along for a hot minute. Yeah. Like post end of high school until I moved out.
Yeah.
My dad and I would just butt heads constantly.
Yeah. But like, and so like. But like also him and his dad are good.
But now we're cool.
Exactly. So like me and my mom, like we're good, but like only child to a single black mom, weird situation to begin
like
with.
Older generations too, they don't. There's less of them that enjoy like comedic humor than like say our age group would. They don't get it, right?
Because they were so serious.
Well, that's the thing. They take themselves too serious, and like it's like taboo to tell a Jew joke, right? With us, it's like it's taboo if you don't tell a Jew joke. You know what I mean? Like, tell me about the Jews. You know what I mean? Where are they? No comment.
We're getting canceled for that one, and that's honestly that is not as bad as what I thought I would get canceled for, so it's fine.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of like the 9/11 thing, where like
I'm be my Pete Wentz moment.
It's far enough gone that we can joke.
But that's what I'm saying is that like our at least like you guys are a little bit older than me, and like I'm young enough to not remember it at all.
Yeah,
and some people are old enough to remember by like they're 5 years old or whatever.
I was 5 when 9/11 happened,
and so
I have a memory of the day and what happened. I don't remember everybody's emotions,
but you can tell by like who's making those jokes based off like how old they are.
Yeah,
so like if you're 20, you're making 9/11 jokes left and right because you don't know what it is.
Also, and this is another thing like that I really admire in all comics is you all have this ability to turn a bad situation into humor and funny and like work your way out of that bad situation with humor. That's a beautiful thing because that's tough to do.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, it is. It can be a curse
because
you guys keep going. Let me find this Socrates quote.
Because they're in every situation, and I mean every situation. Yeah. And Shane Gillis has the joke about there's a funniest version of everything.
Yeah.
But I've lived my life this way before he told that joke. Never would have thought to take it on stage like that. But there is a funny version of every situation. Every situation, no matter how terrible it is, had some kind of moment that you could laugh at. This one's probably going to get me canceled too. Remember the Schlitterbahn water park in Kansas City with the tall slide?
Yeah.
And then that kid.
I remember that. Yeah.
You know? And then they said he got decapitated.
They beheaded him like ISIS.
But they didn't. But they didn't.
They didn't?
No, it was internal decapitation. Motherfucker was fully decapitated.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he broke his neck.
Well, wasn't he like the mayor's son?
He was some mayor's son or whatever.
State senator's son. He's the secretary
I'm
of state
just saying.
No.
I'm just saying. There were water jets at the bottom to push it back up. And if that head rolled down, it would... I think that's really funny.
Imagine, you just gave me a visual of a head.
Just imagine it's a zombie head and it's fine.
No, but back to that.
No, I want to talk about this decapitated motherfucker for a second.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Fully decapitated.
He was decapitated. Everything inside of his neck had detached from the lower half of it, except for like the skin and like the thin layer of muscle
like the
around
vertebrae,
it.
butt broke.
So he's effectively decapitated without having.
Well, they should have just finished it off.
What you're telling me?
That's like telling me if I broke my leg right now, just because you didn't see the bone, doesn't mean my leg wasn't broken.
What I'm hearing is that he was thick-skinned and he would have liked that joke.
Yeah.
Did I explain that correctly?
That's exactly right. That's the vibe I got too. No, but it is like a cool ability that comics have that not a lot of people have, to turn any dark situation funny.
But you also have, it's not.
I have that.
You have it.
And like I've lived my life that way.
Yeah.
And that's like how I've been in a lot of dark places in life, and really the only way out is through laughter and fun. That's the only way out.
It is. Like when they said laughter was the best medicine, they weren't kidding.
Yeah, they're right, yeah.
Like, and Rick Rubin, when he was on Rogan, said comedians are healers.
They are.
Which is like...
You guys are, though.
It's wild because, like, that's something that was spoken over me as a kid. Yeah. And I was just like, whatever. And then after I fractured my skull and shit, they were like, you're going to heal people. And I was like...
Do you ever feel like either of you, do you ever feel any, like, responsibility with that? Like, people are coming to this show to laugh and have a good time. Do you feel it's your responsibility to ensure that like they leave happy and like with a fun vibe of the night?
I mean, so much of it, and we talked about this recently, where his stand-up is so much different than mine, where he's more of like the hangout. Let's sit down and have a good time.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you some jokes, and then we're going to get out of here.
Yeah.
Mine is more of, here are my fucking jokes. Let's go. And I'm more competitive, where it's like I have to be better than the person ahead of me and make it harder for the person after me. And so, and
I like
he's not as much.
I like that mindset.
I'm a psychopath. Yeah. I'm a crazy person, but I'm also a football player, so I had to have that for a little bit.
His is, here are my problems. They're yours now. Mine are... Here's my problems, and like take them if you want.
Yeah. Look at them.
Because I see many people throughout a day.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to like, obviously like a good haircut, whatever. That's easy. I've always tried to like make sure it's a fun time, right? So like if every person in my chair doesn't laugh, I'm like, damn it. Like, that's like, I missed, you know?
Dude, I used to go to therapy that way.
Yeah.
I would be walking into my therapist's office being like, I wonder what I'm going to say to make him laugh today.
Yeah. I'm always on. I'm always on. I can't ever not be on. Like, I'm trying to find the laugh.
If I can't make somebody in my chair laugh, really, then I'll start doing charades with the thing. I'll start doing crazy stuff. Like, I'll say something crazy.
You pull out a nunchuck razor.
It's either all right. After I say this, they're either gonna really hate me or they're gonna like me.
Either they're never coming back or they're never leaving.
There's no in between, because there are those times where you know you're taking a risk.
Oh, every single day.
Yeah, I mean, what we were yesterday when we were hanging out, and you said we're Turk and JD, and then I was like. We're just racist on accident. It was on accident. He said,
"Are you going to re-explain your racism?" It's up to you.
I mean, I did.
Yeah, I want to hear.
I did tweet this week that I thought these tattoos would give me the pass. So we're just going nuts these days.
America, this is how he does me. I want you to see how he does me.
He also has
America.
he has a key to my house, and
that doesn't mean I'm being treated correctly, America.
You are. I assure you, America, he is.
I'm not so sure.
God,
me either anymore. I don't know.
Really bad. Anyway, so he's like, we are Turk and JD from Scrubs.
Yeah.
And I was
fantastic
like,
television
ooh, we're gonna go
program.
back and forth on like famous duos. He said Turk. My dumbass brain goes, Turk's in Tarzan.
Call me a monkey.
And I was gonna be like,
he called me a monkey.
I was like, damn. I was like, oh no. I stopped myself because I was like, this one could ruin our friendship.
He called me a monkey.
I did not because
he looked so unenthused.
Turk did not have a tail.
Don't even start that shit.
Turk did not have a tail, so clearly I would not have called you a monkey.
All right, you called me a chimpanzee.
I didn't call you that. I actually said you were the elephant, and I was
also
the chimpanzee.
That
you have an elephant tattoo on your forearm.
Hey.
So it's perfect.
That's for me and my mama.
I've got a gorilla. So like, oh yeah, they're not chimpanzees, they're gorillas in that movie.
So I got a question for you guys. So at what point do you think stand-up and or podcasting will be your full-time job?
Hopefully soon.
Any minute now.
Like, share, subscribe. If you see our QR code, scan them.
I mean, love us if you love us. I mean,
it's such a hard thing to track.
My biggest thing is...
Do you have a goal, like a time goal?
I mean,
you can have one, but like, what does that mean?
Well, like, I'm asking because like I give myself like challenges, like I want to reach this milestone by this point.
Right.
Do you guys have that in comedy, or is it kind of you got to go with how it feels?
Stand up is such a weird thing where
everybody goes at a different pace at it.
Right. Sure, everybody says like the first, after a decade after you start, that's when you can have your first special.
That's what I've seen. Like everybody's like 10 years and then it's time to blow up.
Exactly.
And even then it takes forever for somebody.
And those are the lucky ones.
Those are the lucky ones that pop.
The right guy at the right time.
Yeah. No, it is lucky. Yeah. Because it is
every success has a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
That's why I said earlier, like with everybody's been funny. That's why I compare it to athletics. Everybody's throwing a ball.
Yeah.
But everybody's been athletic to a certain level. Like LeBron James might be the greatest athlete of all time, but like Gabe might be the worst athlete of all time, but he's been in a PE class before.
Yeah. I played basketball.
So everybody's been funny at one point or another.
Yeah.
So either you're the least funny person who's told one-liner his entire life, or you're Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
It's just about how do you get from that point to the next.
Yeah.
It might take 10 years, 15 years, forever, never, I don't know.
I'd argue though, like it is easier to like blow up, if you will, now than it was like 15 years ago, right?
Well, and that's the problem.
But saturated now. It's super
heavily saturated. But the problem with me for stand-up wise, and I'm preaching from this high horse like I know what I'm talking about, but I feel like I do, for at least from a fan standpoint, is that if I saw somebody go viral off of Kill Tony, for instance, I saw them do 60 seconds of comedy, which that show has done a lot for a lot of people. It's a great thing to do, but if somebody blows up off of that and they're, I don't know, 2 months into comedy and they've only developed that 1 minute of comedy. I've wondered
that same thing about that show.
And then I want to go see them, and then like if they don't at least have a half hour.
Yeah, you're like kind of let down.
I'm not going to pay money to go see somebody do 10 minutes
That is
of comedy.
one thing. If you go on that show and you have a good 60 seconds, you kind of get thrown to the wolves as far as comedy goes. Yeah. And like, because Tony will start taking the guys that do well on there.
Right, on the road.
On tour with him.
And that
have
helps.
At least like 15 minutes on a tour, right?
10 to 15.
10, 15. But there are the success stories that I've done correctly and whatever the case may be. But there are some that it's just like, you got famous off 2 months, 60 days of comedy. That's not a lot of time. If you do anything for 60 days, do you feel confident enough to show that to a bunch of people?
Art form like comedy.
And that's the thing. You can develop 1 minute's worth of comedy in about 2 months. That's good enough to get you a pop on that show. I believe.
Yeah.
So from just scratch.
You're right. Anybody can come up with something funny to say.
And I think the barrier of like, will somebody come see me to do stand up, or honestly maybe even music or anything, 30 minutes of material, music, at least 30 minutes, and then that's when people will say, I will come see you.
Yeah.
Because you have this half hour's worth of material.
I'd agree with that.
And if you only have 1 minute and then you develop 5 more minutes in a month after that, bravo, you got 6 minutes, but give me 24 more. Let's go.
Yeah.
And that takes years. And like, I'm not even saying I'm there.
Yeah.
I might have 15 minutes I can consistently say, let's make money with this.
Yeah. But your 15 minutes now will be like nothing compared to your 15 minutes in 5 years.
Exactly. My 15 minutes from a year and a half ago was nothing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to, like, thinking about Kill Tony, like, I go, like, if I look back at my jokes I did when I started, I have a version of 2 of them that I still do, but they're still different jokes than they were when I started.
Yeah.
But if I go through everything I had written in that first 6 months, there's probably at least one in there that would have got a good pop on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and I don't even like those jokes anymore.
I love about social media is in like YouTube, everything, like your guys' whole come up from the start.
Yeah.
It's documented.
Yeah.
So like, and then like when you're feeling like, man, I'm not going anywhere. Like when I feel that way, I actually go back to old content of mine and be like, okay, no, I'm getting somewhere. I've grown a lot from this. And that's a beautiful thing. Like to be able to look back and literally with your eyes watch yourself and grow. You know, it's pretty cool.
I mean, we just did that on our way home from Kansas City a couple weeks ago. when we got our schedule all mixed up and we didn't end up recording an episode for a week, I just put together a clips episode. And called it, because I'm guilty of it, of 47 minutes of XYZ to sleep to. And so that's what I called it. I said 47 minutes of that checks out to sleep. Fall asleep.
That's a good idea.
And and it's just a compilation of all our clips since we've been in here.
Okay.
So
with the good audio and stuff like that.
But even without the good audio, when I didn't
comparable
get it dialed
audio
in,
for the most part.
You know, some of them I didn't have the focus right and whatever, but still
But that's great to look at, because you're like,
the clip style, the editing.
Look how far I've grown. I would never make that mistake now. You know, that's a beautiful thing.
And even our flow in some of those clips, you can tell just the growth we've had. Because
even in this episode, I know we've got like 4 clips all ready to go.
Like,
so I mean, we're an hour into the pod. Like, I'm not saying we're gonna finish now. We can go however the fuck long, but like, we've already got everything we need for this episode.
We might have to bleep some shit out.
Well,
for sure.
Don't worry, I got you.
But like, you know,
Pretty good at it. I'll bleep out ew.
I think in about a year and a half, we know how to get the format in. We're like, let's get some punchlines in, call it a clip, and then we'll obviously talk about what we need to talk or want to talk about. But
I'm learning that flow with my own content right now. Is like finding the best parts of the long content, or the most the most likely that would go viral, things like that. That's a skill, actually.
Right?
And I think that particularly for and the group that we run around with, the combination of creativity and determination of like, sure, the idea's here, but where the fuck is it going? And at least to like go to someone, but I'm gonna figure out where it goes. If it's for Taylor, I've got this lyric in my head. You've got this idea for a clip.
Everything gets
for
executed.
the barbershop. We've got jokes or something for the podcast. We're gonna figure it out to get to the end of the
that's thing. One thing I love about like the Valhalla family, if you will, like all of us, everybody, is if it's a good idea, it's gonna get executed one way or another, and that is rare to find. And that goes back to having like a solid team around you.
And I think the quickness of idea to execution is so important, because I'm really good at talking myself out of something. That's why my TikTok has, like, I haven't done a ton on my TikTok because I'll get to the editing process like, it's not as funny as it was 10 seconds ago. I was like, I need to get this, just put it out there when I still think it's funny. Even if it's not, we'll see.
Like, there's stuff like that where like, if you sit on a piece of content too long, you'll be like, this is already old, or like, oh, this isn't relevant. And there's that. I pretty much like, I would like in a perfect world to like be a week ahead on content, but I can't like bring myself to post something a week that I made a week ago, because I feel like I'm try to grow at such a rapid rate. It's like a week ago I sucked. Now it's way better.
Well, I mean, that's how we tried to start this, was like we backlogged a bunch of episodes and stuff, and then we found that it was so hard to remember when to post which one. And then also we were talking a lot more about pro wrestling back then, so it was very topical for that.
This takes up so much time, like at least like mental energy to think about. And like, I mean, I love this thing, but at the same time, what you were talking about, where it's like, fuck, we got to talk about this, and like, sure, current events would be great, but let's just talk. Like, that's a lot easier than like, and I purposely come in without.
The great thing about the free form, long form content, like, if you guys flow well together, you could just sit down and record an episode.
And that's why I love radio so much, because it's live and it's out and it's done. It's like, if the joke was funny, it's great, but it's gone.
About it.
It's gone now. It's whatever.
That's a lot of like big content creators will often say, don't overthink the content. Just put it out, because what's the worst that could happen? You're like, people don't like it and you don't like it. Well, do better the next day. You know,
that's why I talk to myself. Let it rip.
Like,
fucking crazy.
Like today I was driving and I saw a bumper sticker and it said, I'm something. I think it was like a native tribe or something. It said,
Ponca.
I said, I'm Ponca. And I just threw my phone up. I was like, hi, Ponca, I'm Dad. And just like, I thought it was really funny. I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
And it's stuff that you don't think will go anywhere too, that often like blows up. It's weird.
You know about my spider video? You don't know about my spider video?
No. Jesus, we haven't talked about it in months.
We haven't talked about it in a long time.
He got more famous than me in a week, and I'd never forgiven him for it.
It was right after I started stand-up. And so my basement bathroom, I have...
No, you told
me. The red spider.
The
thing, I was like, I just sent it to my friends, and somebody said, you need to put that on TikTok. And I was just like, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, sure, whatever.
So then you guys are like, do you guys make content like specifically for the short form content? Like, do you guys like I would do a skit. Do you guys do something?
So we're moving into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the pre-show thing came from.
For me,
it's more calculated that way when you're trying to be like virality.
Exactly.
I need to be more intentional with my personal stuff.
Yeah.
But for me, it's so much like, how do I get that on stage? And like that's kind of a crutch, or not a crutch, but a handicap at times. Where it's like sometimes it's not worth being on stage, but at the same time, it's like you need content. Fucking put it out there and see what happens.
That's the thing too. Like if you're in any kind of art form in this day and age, like you kind of have to work 2-3 times harder than the same art form 15 years ago, because realistically, like every art form, like revolves around social media.
It all has a platform now.
Exactly.
I told you this the other day, but I read this book called The Comedians. It's literally
History
everything
of
you
thieves,
need to know.
drunks, and scoundrels.
Literally everything you need to know about comedy you can read in this book. But there was this joke that got somebody a job at NBC, a writing job. They said, we rolled into this small town. You want to know how I know it was a small town? Saw the hospital. It's called Sam's Hospital and Grill. That got somebody a job on NBC. It was so much easier. And this is like the 40s or 50s or whatever it is.
That's how easy, like all you had to do is know somebody.
Exactly.
Right.
Like that joke's funny. You can get a little chuckle out of it. I've written one better.
Yeah.
And it's a lot about right place at the right time.
My 3-year-old,
and now it's just about hitting the algorithm.
My 3-year-old could come up with something funnier than that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Now it's just about hitting the algorithm at the right place at the right time.
That's what I've been learning. Like, and it's not the reason I like silly content, because I enjoy making silly content. Like I enjoy laughing. Everybody making it with me is laughing.
Yeah.
And I love getting like laughter out of like just random people on the internet. It's like a difficult thing to like find your lane, right? And like find like essentially what's your brand? Who's your brand?
Right.
And like I've rebranded big time in the last year. Like I've went full tilt funny, which is my personality. It's not me.
Yeah.
I don't think you can fake being funny.
No.
I think comedy as a genre, it's the only thing in everything.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Go see a movie. It can be a drama, an action movie, a thriller, a horror movie. There's going to be at least one joke.
Even
comedy's the only thing that's in everything.
Everything, yeah.
In the Iron Claw.
Yeah.
One of the saddest movies of all time.
Yeah.
There's
still, everyone knows Carrie's my favorite, and then it's
exactly
like it's.
And that was a true story, but it's like it's funny. So like it's to me that's why I think the idea of comedy, you can't put too much importance on it, but it is necessary. Sure, comics aren't philosophers or whatever the fuck. We're just dudes telling jokes. We're just trying to have a good time. And if you like it and want to catch on, that's why it's hard for me to be like, oh, this is why you need to get up in arms about this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
I just want to laugh.
Yeah.
If you like it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, have fun.
I mean, if anything, too, like, to what you asked earlier, I don't think we ever really answered it, but, like, do I feel a responsibility?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Eat a dick. Mine later.
I don't want to eat some dick. I'm good on that.
I got a scab on my ankle that looks like a wiener, and it's kind of funny. But if we feel a responsibility to make sure everybody had a good time and leaves happy and stuff, and I don't know, for me that's not necessarily the case. My job is to make you think differently about something, not change your worldview or anything.
Shift a perspective.
Not even that. Make you think of something that you've thought of before, but in a way you never would have ever.
In like a positive, funny way.
It might not even be positive. Okay. It might just be like dark, because there's a part of me that I just want a reaction on things sometimes too. I don't always need to laugh.
I think everybody likes a reaction.
I think
a reaction's nice.
I think preachers have there's a very strong connection between preachers and comedians, just because I know a handful of them. Mm-hmm. But like everybody knows every Bible story there is to know, probably. Like you've heard Noah and the Ark, Adam and Eve, all of the stories.
Sure.
But you kind of take that story and like every Sunday it's like, how can I like twist it a little bit to teach this lesson.
Yeah.
And sure, that might be corny or whatever it is, but I think it's kind of real where it's like, we all see the same shit. We're all in traffic. We all deal with shitty neighbors. We have a crazy family. We all have whatever it is.
I got to point towards my house when you say shitty neighbors.
I meant to say it earlier, but we'll bring that one back later on. But like, we're all seeing the same things.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about them differently.
Yeah,
we all want to figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah. That's great because everybody has a unique perspective.
Every football team runs the football. How do they do it?
I mean,
what's the execution?
I've got 3 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Of all 4 of us, none of us had the same parents.
Yeah.
In the sense that the way they parented me,
different.
I was the first kid. I was the guinea pig.
Oh,
it was like, he's fragile.
Don't drop it.
And
Damn
then,
it.
You know, emotional and all that shit, depression, all came with that. But whatever. Like,
I was a trailblazer. I was getting arrested and doing.
Hell
I was letting
yeah,
them know,
dude.
this is how you live a life.
What was the crime the first time you got arrested? How are we not on? Fuck. We're gonna do a lot more time now. What was your first crime?
The first thing I was like 15 or 16 for drinking and driving. And then.
What was your favorite crime?
Well, the funniest one was the night before my court date for the DUI. I was arrested.
I thought you were going to say the night before Christmas. I would have cried.
Under the influence in a car. The night before the court date, I got arrested. Like, what's the last time? The last time I did was fucking 6 months or right before Christmas. Got arrested.
Shit.
Had a warrant, didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
Took care of that.
You're like the 3rd person I've known recently that has had that happen.
They don't tell you when you have a warrant until they arrest you.
They should probably let you know.
Hey, shoot me a text, bro. Like, I don't know what the hell.
Like, what the hell? Oh my God. Yeah, no.
I had some funny, like, so I got arrested with my best friend. And he is a notorious, like, loudmouth, very funny, like, and for some reason, and we were drunk, and they put us both in the same cop car in the back seat, and so like he started doing this beatboxing. I started rapping to the cop and like a diss track rap to him while he's driving us. He was laughing, but then in the police report, it didn't look great on us.
Disrespected the officer all the way back to the station.
Yeah. They weren't happy about that. But he was laughing. What the hell?
I know, that's what's fucked up about it is he was laughing. Exactly. Like, you obviously had some enjoyment of it.
He knew it was funny.
That's a funny ass sketch.
He was being too PC about it, though.
Back of the cop car.
I don't know why they put us both in there either.
Yeah, that was a stupid choice on their part.
Especially because before they even took us out of the car, we were talking shit.
It's literally the opening scene of Super Troopers. That's exactly what they put all 3 of them back there, and the one's just like,
these snozberries.
Snozberries taste like snozberries.
Yeah, I've lived some life.
Yeah. It's fucking... I've been through some shit. Yeah. I never got arrested.
I'm like an asshole with eyes. I've seen a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Felix has been a bystander to a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of shit.
Hey.
But I was
don't use that turn of phrase bystander because I know what you're talking about right now. And I don't want to. I was also a victim that night.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that.
Okay.
I had something else in mind.
Just so the record knows, I was a victim that night as well. Not the direct victim or the immediate victim, but shit happened to me that night.
You got free pizza. So we'll tell you about that later. We haven't brought that one on.
That was punishment. It was Domino's.
That's an off-camera one.
Yeah, that's an off-camera one.
Crazy one.
But we recently.
Do you guys ever think like so in the last like 2 years I've been on camera on video with audio more than I ever have in my life.
Yeah.
And you guys know, like, I say a lot of questionable things. I know they're questionable. I'm not into that.
Yeah, you saw me climb over this chair earlier. Yeah.
But do you guys
4
ever
minutes
like
into this podcast?
do you guys ever worry that like shit, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one?
Here's the thing. And I said this when I was on the radio. Knows the past tense of that.
Felix lost his radio job, but he's getting a better one.
Hey.
I was explaining it.
I know, but can you
make your own? Hey, you got your own. You got your own show. Who needs a fucking radio? You know?
Yeah, but it goes in the area of network things that he really enjoys, like nerds about comedy, sports, network television / radio.
The Country Bears.
The Country Bears.
Yeah. So what, you got canned or what?
laid off. Let's say that. But again, that's an off-air.
That's crazy
story.
too.
Fired,
That's crazy that they
off.
fired you because that industry is popping off right now. You know,
Dude, that Howard Stern. What a rascal.
It's an off-air story that deserves that is a fun story to tell. Not a fun story to tell, an interesting story to tell to visualize ineptitude. But I'll leave that at that.
We'll save that for a new episode.
That was a big word.
But I used to say this on the radio, where it's like, I'm never gonna say anything to make you believe that I'm preaching the gospel.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Take it for what it is. Just know who it's coming from.
Yeah,
I'm just a guy that, like I said, I just want to tell jokes. And obviously, I'm gonna do all of the bureaucratic bullshit to get there, and like I will say some meaningful shit time to time. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if it's not funny, I'm probably not saying.
Yeah, and like so, you've already you already have like set a precedent of like
I live my life in such a way.
Funny, so like people that look at it like, oh, he's trying to be funny. It may be a bad joke, but you're still
a joke nonetheless.
Yeah, and like if you do that on stage, you can just go, we're trying some new shit tonight.
The one I loved, I think it was the Shane Gillis.
You hate that.
The Shane Gillis had a special, and like the crowd was like, "Oh," and he goes, "Guys, I'm joking. It's just jokes." Which I'm like, that makes so much sense for someone to just say that. Like, hey, I'm just joking.
Like, I mean, there's the old adage of like the solution to life is always so simple, right under your nose or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly that. You get up in arms about what comedians are saying. Let's go back to the job description of a comedian. What does a comedian do?
Tell jokes.
Tell jokes.
Yeah.
So what would you say if someone like me, who's not a comedian, was like to tell a joke, like a bad one, and get canceled? Like, what would your guys' perspective be from a comedian standpoint?
I think
because I'm not a comedian.
It's a crutch for me, at least, where like you can say like, I'm just fucking around, guys.
Yeah.
But you, at least people who don't do stand up, like maybe you're just a creative guy, and so like you have at least a lane that way. But I think it's more of just like, a lot of those guys, they masquerade of like, I'm just a dummy I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You want to be funny, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But also be real with that. Like, I'm just a funny guy.
Yeah.
I'm just funny.
I think a lot of that too, like whether you would get canceled or not over saying something.
You actually have to be big to get canceled. So I think I'm good for a minute.
But also, like, I think what that would come from, or a lot of that depends on your peers. And who else is like comics, we can all acknowledge when something went too far, or like, hey, like I straight up told a guy one time, he's like, I don't know why this joke keeps, or he's like, I got this new joke, and it was some super sexual joke and stuff, and I was like, hey, maybe stop being overly sexual, because all his jokes were just like gross sexual, not even
funny.
No.
Yeah.
And
there's not a right way to do comedy. There is a wrong way.
There's a lot of wrong ways.
Yeah, I would agree.
And like there was no balance in it. And so I just told him straight up, I was like, stop making so many sexual jokes.
Yeah.
Like, they can be done right. I'm not saying I love a good sexual joke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But when it's just like gross and maybe a little creepy kind of.
Yeah, creepy guys shouldn't tell sex jokes.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you're kind of playing into it and that's the character, and you're more trying to make people uncomfortable, and then the people that get it.
Yeah, like Jezelnik.
I think a lot of comedians forget that, or at least a lot of people, comedians or otherwise, satire is the easiest form of comedy where I'm going to pretend that this is okay, but it's not actually okay.
Yeah. Right.
We have a running joke of women aren't funny. The funniest person we know is a woman.
Yeah.
The funniest person we know is a woman.
With the shout out to Megan Welch.
But we will make the joke of like, women aren't funny.
Yeah.
You fuck out of here.
Yeah,
just because
like
we know that's not the case.
It's a locker room talk joke.
Exactly. It's Trump saying, grab him by the pussy.
And that made me like him more. I'm not gonna lie.
My mama's a woman and she never mind. My mama doesn't have a pussy.
Jesus.
I shouldn't say things into microphones.
No, that's the wildest part, is that the people with the microphones are people like us. Because we're delusional enough to talk into them.
Yeah.
Just you coming on here, the shit you say in the shop, I'm sure, from time to time, is like,
I get some weird looks.
Like, no, but also you have sharp things by people's heads.
Yeah, there's that.
So like,
you got a problem?
I don't know if I want this psychopath with a razor next to my neck.
This guy just said a lot of weird shit. I don't know how comfortable I feel with him that close to my neck.
Just sitting there like, oh God.
Oh shit, I've seen Sweeney Todd. Thinking they're important enough to get killed.
Have you seen The Color Purple?
Nope.
Celie will shave him.
Oh my God.
And like, always, she thinks about killing him. And it's this weird scene of like, it's like the first scene in Inglourious Bastards where it's all power moves.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like, where like the submissive one literally has a knife to the oppressive one's neck. Won't slit his throat though.
Is this in the new one or the old one?
Both.
Okay.
Never seen it.
I haven't either.
Because you're white.
Yep.
Brandon.
100%.
WHITE.
All right, we should get out of here. All
right.
We've been going for a bit here.
Braeden, plug your shit.
Brandon, go ahead.
Yeah.
I should actually say your name correctly
Yeah.
because I'm going to fuck it up. Braeden.
Yeah.
I love you, buddy.
Love you guys, man.
I appreciate you coming on.
Braeden Oakleaf on all social media platforms or Standard Issue Barbershop on all platforms. I do both pages. Can I have a message for your audience?
Yeah.
Investigate 9/11. 9/11's perpetrated their own government.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes. Yes.
9/11 was an Old Navy commercial.
It was. I have a theory about that.
God bless you.
God keep you.
We out.
All right, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, hope you enjoyed that podcast you just listened to. Go and binge watch everything we've put out over the last however long we've been doing this thing. And I know you hear it from every content creator out there, but it is real. It's real simple. Just tap, like, retweet, share, all that good stuff. Subscribe. Send this to your friends if you think they'd like it. Please, because it absolutely would mean the world to us because we're working our asses off. Help us, please. Help us help you help. I don't know. Just show this to your mom. She might like it. She probably won't.